All right, everybody, we are live. Welcome to this week's edition of Fights Unwrapped. I am so excited for this week because it is John Jones Fight Week, and I have two incredible co hosts with me. Alec Carr couldn't be here today, he is traveling for work, but I have Dustin Hunt and special guest CJ from Unwrapped Sports Network to join us. Thank you so much, CJ, for joining us. We are so excited to have you, and we are so pumped to talk about this card. But before we do that, as our late Anthony Conover would say, we have to pay the bills. I know it's so sad saying that, but we miss you, Connie. We really do. So, first things first, we're going to talk about rxhemp.com. So, if anybody has any injuries, sports injuries, MMA injuries, whatever, you use rxhemp.com's CBD products, you will feel 100% better. You can use our promo code rxhemp-usn, get 10% off your entire order. As well, I don't know about CJ, but I know me and Dustin are betting fiends, and if anybody is a betting fiend, you guys gotta check out mybookie.ag. Use promo code USN100 for 100% sign up bonus if you do that today and before the fights. So I am going to talk a little bit about my betting locks a little bit later on. Let's just see. I think we got a comment. Oh, look who it is!
Let's
Alec
go.
Carr. We
What's
miss you,
good?
buddy. I miss
Some
you,
guy.
and I'm sure everybody misses you. We are so excited to talk about this card, and we wish you were here. But he's probably going to comment the entire time, so we'll probably get his opinion anyways, okay? So, we are going to start off with a really entertaining topic, which happened this weekend. We're going to talk about Fury versus Paul. Even though I would never really bring up this topic, but honestly, I think we got to talk about it. And I know Dustin for sure has some strong opinions, especially when it comes to the refs. Okay, so I'm going to start with Dustin. How did you feel about the fight? Obviously, I know you weren't too fond of the refing that was happening. And did you like the outcome? Were you surprised about it? Tell me how you feel, Dustin.
Unfortunately, my wife had to be in the room, and I was cussing that ref out during that fight. There's reffing, and then there's trying to be a little bit too much. Like he's acting like he's a part of the fight, like he's the star of the fight. He was getting in the middle too much. He was taking way too long to separate him. He was taking way too long to talk to him in the middle of the fight. You're not supposed to do that shit. You're giving people rest time. You're not letting the fight have a flow. It throws both fighters off. He's taking points away for punches in the back of the head that weren't even really punches in the back of the head. Like it really wasn't. Now, if a rabbit punch landed here and there, I get it. But like that happens in every boxing fight. Every boxing fight it happens, especially when they get inside, they get close. That happens. And this dude was acting just extra as hell, man. I couldn't take it. I was cussing him out. Like I was sitting at that TV. I was standing up. Dude, I was like, dude, you don't get this clown the fuck out of the ring. I was so mad because he ruined the whole fight for me, like the whole fight for people, because he took away points. Like if you'd have took away a point from Jake Paul and not took one from Fury, what if Jake Paul gets a knockdown, he still loses just because that dumbass referee wanted some attention? That's what I'm saying though. There's some refs that want attention, but when it comes to the fight itself, I'll give props to Jake because he took some shots though. I will say that he took some mean ass combos. I remember Tommy Fury hit him with literally a straight down the pipe and two hooks, clean on the chin, clean on the jaws, and he stood up. And I was like, that was impressive. Now, really, Tommy Fury exposed Jake Paul for what he is. He's a decent boxer. He can hold his own. But that whole championship talk, that's never going to happen in your life, dude. Never. The guys in your weight class are like Artur Beterbiev. Bro, if you step in the ring with Beterbiev and you let him touch you like that, if the ref don't stop it, you're going to on a stretcher, dude. You ain't got to worry about a fucking 8 count. He is going to put you in an ER hospital. That's exactly what's going to happen. And his championship talks are over. All that championship bullshit, all that fighting Canelo, that's over. If he even tries to step up in competition, he is going to get mauled. In that boxing ring, he will damn near get killed. I'm serious. Like, I hope no one ever lets him fight a ranked opponent. I after seeing how Tommy Fury did him, and look at his face after Tommy Fury, and Tommy Fury is not even experienced yet. Now, I'm the opposite of what other people are saying, though. I think Tommy Fury has a future. I think he's 23 years old. He keeps at it and keeps working hard. Tommy Fury could have a good career. I'm not saying he's going to be like his brother, because his brother is arguably one of the best heavyweights of all time. But I will say that he has a good shot to have a great career, and I think he's going to be a good boxer. And he showed Jake Paul that he wasn't ready. And that's just what it is. And Jake Paul is not ready. I don't think he'll ever be ready for the big time. The fact that a WBC was about to give him a ranking if he won this fight was disgusting. Disgusting. If he'd have won that fight and fought a ranked WBC guy, bro, he would have got his ass killed. That would have been a disservice to Jake Paul in his health. Like, and then I got cringy ass Logan talking shit to Tommy Fury when Jake was the one huffing and puffing. I was like, what are you looking at? Tommy Fury's fine. Jake's over here dying as he's getting his ass beat. And I was like, it is what it is. I love the fight. I thought it was great. I thought some people kind of hated on it because it was Jake Paul, but I was like, I thought it was a great fight. I haven't watched that many. Honestly, I watch boxing, and I'm telling you right now, you don't see entertaining fights like that all the time. That shit does not happen all the time. Sometimes it's very strategic. So I was happy with it. It was a good product. I can't wait to see the second one.
All right, so we got Alec Carr, our other co-host, making some comments. Fury is ranked 350th in the world and considered to have some of the worst defense in the ring, and the powerful Paul couldn't knock him out. Yes.
Yeah, no, Jake Paul is not that. He's not that strong. I mean, Fury is 23 years old. You're not going to be able to hit him on the chin and he's going to fall. That's not going to happen. So, and they showed that.
I mean, like, honestly, I didn't really think much about this fight because I knew Tommy Fury would probably win. I don't know who betted on Jake Paul, but I actually thought that Fury had a good chance of winning, and I'm not surprised as the result kind of happened that way. Dustin, it went to a split decision, didn't it?
It did, because that other fucking judge was on drugs.
Yeah, well, I mean, he was obviously bought. A lot of people are saying, like, obviously he was bought by, like, Jake Paul or whatever to, like...
He had Jake Paul winning by 4 rounds, bro. That was fucking disgusting.
No, definitely wasn't. Definitely wasn't 4 rounds.
No, for sure. CJ, what did you feel about the fight? Did you watch it? Are you surprised with the outcome? How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I thought it was a good fight for, you know, who they are and, you know, and their experience, right? You know, you can't. I feel like a lot of people are critiquing them because it's not the professional boxers like we see Errol Spence, Tank, Ryan Garcia.
Oh yeah,
that's just a different. That's just this. What they're doing is a different lane. So like when Dustin said, when the WBC tried to sanction make Jake Paul into a cruiserweight, that, you know, that's ridiculous. It was entertaining. You know, Tommy Fury, like I said, you know, before we started the show, it's in his blood. You know, look at his last name. I'm pretty sure his father had him in the boxing gyms since he was a young kid. So he has some type of experience, even though the record may say what it says. I'm sure he sparred with kids, with guys when he was growing up. So he has that experience already. I think a lot of people slept on that and didn't really take that into effect because we see what Jake has done with the knockout on Woodley, and, you know, how he dropped Anderson, even though Anderson, again, is like almost 50 years old, but he did drop him. And so he made himself marketable to where people thought, okay, this guy could potentially knock Fury out. So they did a good job in marketing the fight in terms of, and they got it on ESPN Plus. Like, that's crazy. I mean, these guys aren't even professional boxers, and they're getting a fight on ESPN Plus. So they did a good job with that. I have to give them some credit there. Fury was just just jabbing him up the whole fight. Kept that jab on him. Anytime Jake tried to come in, just kept touching him. Good combinations, like Dustin said as well. I just kept piecing him the whole fight. And I think Jake, you know, of course he'll throw that left up and try to do the overhand right. He was trying to do that the whole fight. And again, going up against a Fury, that's not going to be such an easy thing to you know, just automatically think you're going to execute that. So I feel like they could have game planned better on the Paul side. So we'll see what happens in the rematch. I think it's a lot to learn for Jake. Take it on the chin. And if you really say you're a fighter, then go back in the drawing board, lock in, and challenge Fury again. You got the rematch clause, so it's on you. Make it 1-1, and then you do the rubber match.
Picture Jake Paul trying to fight Jack the Ripper, dude. Like, come on, bro. Yeah. You get killed, man. Like,
yeah, so what Badu Jack did in the co-main.
Come on, bro. Jack the Ripper, it would murder him, dude. Like,
of course.
Goodness.
Yeah, he was just marketing himself. Yeah.
No, for sure. I gotta hand it to at least Jake Paul for saying, like, okay, I'm gonna face someone that's not like super retired, you know what I'm saying? Like not almost 50 years old and past his prime. At least he faced someone like Tommy Fury that's pretty much in his prime. Regardless of how many people think he's actually really good or not, like he actually got into the ring with him, faced him, got beat. But it is what it is. It was pretty obvious, in my opinion, the outcome of this fight. So I'm not super surprised. A lot of people don't know this, but if you follow Jake Paul, he actually started jiu-jitsu not too long ago. So I know MMA is in his aspiration. So he actually started his first class of jiu-jitsu not too long ago. So that was interesting.
He has a better shot. He has a better shot in MMA, in my opinion.
Think so?
Boxing itself, I'm telling you right now, like, you got to look at the lineage, man. You got to look at the guys like Ryan Garcia, Tank Davis. These guys have fought 400 times in the amateur ranks. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't catch up. You cannot catch up to that. I don't care what anybody says, no matter how long you try. And MMA, it's a younger sport. Talented, physical guys that are weird can win. It is what it is. Like, look at Alex whooping on Izzy. He never did MMA in his life until he really stepped in the UFC. And he's knocking out the champ. I mean, dude, you can do it in MMA. In boxing, try to be a novice and fight Floyd. Watch what's going to happen.
But the difference is Pereira was skilled already in one aspect which is pivotal in how you start the UFC fight, which is standing up. So his stand up is so lethal. What's Jake's skill set what's his wrestling? He said he was a wrestler.
He was a wrestler.
Yeah, him and Paul, him and his brother Logan, they did wrestling. So, maybe he could go back to that. That's good that he's doing jiu-jitsu. I did see that he signed that deal with the PFL, kind of a boxing / MMA type deal. So that's, he's testing himself. I respect that. I don't really follow what he does on social media. I don't either. I'm just, okay, if he wants to go in combat sports, I like combat sports. And, okay, let's see what you do. That's how I'm looking at it. So he's testing himself. We'll see what he does. I think in MMA it'd be much more difficult. I mean, if he doesn't have a base skill set that he can excel at right away, like wrestling, like kickboxing, I think he's gonna get slaughtered out. You put him, he'd be 190, so he'd be what, a welterweight probably, maybe, or a middleweight.
190.
Middleweight,
190. He would have to cut down to 185. If he wants to go to light heavyweight, he'd have to go to 205.
He would get murdered.
I'm gonna be real. If he goes right into the PFL tournament with those guys in the tournament, he would get his ass beat. But if they put him against like a contender series guy that they have, I think he'd have a decent shot. But yeah, I agree with you though. If he goes in that tournament in PFL, he's gonna get his shit twisted. I'm gonna say that right now. Yeah, I agree with you there.
I think
Alec Carr was saying that they were decent wrestlers in high school, the Paul brothers. PFL is starting a special division with for him with special rules. I'm not surprised at all about this.
Marketing, baby.
Yeah, man.
I mean, he challenged Nate. He said, "Okay, Nate, let's box one fight, and then the next fight we could do MMA." And
Nate Diaz beat the shit out of him in MMA.
Well, Nate might take that now. He looks like free cash after the L. So
yeah,
they might definitely capitalize on that. I mean, I'm pretty sure he made a lot of money in the UFC, despite whatever people want to say about fighter pay. But Nate made a lot in the UFC, and if he's able to do this right now at 37, 38, and capitalize on this bread, 2 fights with Jake probably put him in like, $50 million range, of course.
Yeah, I can definitely see that, guys, for sure. And we are going to move on from, even though I love this topic, surprisingly, it went really well with us. We are going to move on to an interesting yet confusing headline. We got Tapiria versus Zombie or Tapiria versus T-City. I have no fucking clue what is going on with this. But basically, they're trying to set up this fight with Tapiria versus somebody in the ranks because he is so talented. He is one of my favorite fighters in that division, definitely for sure. Now, a lot of people are saying, why Zombie? Like, a lot of people are like, I don't want this to be his last fight before he retires, right? So that's one of the concerns that a lot of MMA fans, at least on MMA Twitter, have been concerning about. I'm going to go to CJ first. What do you think about this fight? Because it looks like they're leaning towards this one instead of the one against T-City. Oh, I think you're muted. There you go.
How you phrase that at the end? It sounded like what a lot of people thought about when they tried to book Nate versus Hamzat. and everybody's like, "Oh, this is Nate's last fight on his contract." UFC, you're gonna feed him to Chimaev? Really? Like, really? That's gonna be his last fight in the UFC? Thankfully, it worked out completely different. And I think people want to see Zombie in a fun fight, a fight that he could potentially win if it is his last fight. If he does, if he does want to call it. Tapera did a great job against Doug Nasty a couple pay-per-views ago. It was really impressive, really impressive. I thought Mitchell was going to be able to use his wrestling, but Tapera did a great job of touching him up, put some hands on him, and hurt him bad. So, I think obviously Ortega would be the better fight if Tapera wants to continue to rise up in the featherweight rankings. But it would, for Tapera's sake, regardless, it would look good on his resume regardless of the name. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, for sure. Dustin, how do you feel about this fight? Do you prefer this fight or do you prefer him versus T-City?
I think he fucks both of them up.
Yeah, damn sure.
Because Zombie's going to get murdered. I think Zombie's going to get killed. T-City can't strike. I'm going to be completely honest. That dude cannot block a fucking punch to save his life. He gets rocked all the time. Like, when he tried to fight his last fight before he hurt his shoulder, bro, he was getting his ass whooped. Bro, he was getting touched up, dude. I was like, damn, that's embarrassing. T-City cannot block a punch. He can't. He's like unable to defend a strike. I don't know what it is. If he goes in there against Topuria, bro, he's going to get his ass killed. And so is Zombie. So the only person I think that can stick with that dude is Volk at this point. I think Volk is going to get in there, and I think Volk will give him the business a little bit. But
Yair?
Yeah. Oh, okay, that's a good point. Yeah, I could see that too.
That's a fun fight, man.
Topuria. Yeah, you're right.
That's
Giannis,
inevitable. Either way, it's inevitable.
Right. Well, he's going to fight Volk next.
Right.
So we'll see.
It's gonna be a great.
That's gonna be amazing. Oh my god, for sure. Okay, so that's how we feel about this fight. I pretty much agree with both of you. Like, he's probably gonna murder Zombie or T-City, like you said. I think Zombie, he had a good run, but I obviously can see a downward spiral in his career right now, which is not a bad thing because he's past his prime, and things happen like that all the time, even with the greats, right? So
T-City broke my girl's heart, bro. I should kick him in the balls.
No, man. CJ. Dustin has this thing for Tracy Cortez, so if you didn't know that, that's the reason why she said he broke her heart. I don't know the real reason. I will investigate, and then we'll get back to everybody with my new segment called Baywatch. Okay, but besides that, I know I brought it up to this show because I thought it was brilliant. So I think that we're gonna move on to a topic that I know CJ wasn't too familiar with last weekend, but me and Dustin did watch the fights this past weekend. Okay, really sad that the main event didn't happen. So Krylov got ill and was not medically cleared to compete. They literally announced this, the start of the main card. And
I was so damn mad.
So damn mad. I had bets going on that fight, man.
Yeah,
mad.
Span was emotional. I did see it. I did see his interview though. He was emotional about the fight being called off, and because he couldn't show what he was doing in the gym and in training.
Now he's got to make weight again. Shit, I'd be crying too.
They rescheduled it for next. They rescheduled it for next week.
Yeah.
I still be crying. That means I got to peak again, bro. That is fucking hard.
Yeah, definitely.
That's crazy hard, dude. Having to peak again in a week. Damn.
Yeah, speaking of Peak, we're going to talk about Trevor Peak, okay? Because he made quite the debut in the UFC. I don't know, CJ, if you saw some of the highlights from what happened, but when I was watching the prelims, he was mauling this guy. Like, literally, his opponent was backed up in the cage, literally just punches after combinations being thrown at him until he got knocked out. And the ref finally called it. And it was right at the buzzer as well, so it was quite close. Here's the thing. In my opinion, I like Trevor Peak. I like his tenacity. It's just that his strikes aren't the most technical strikes. Like, he is definitely a street fighter, just kind of like Game Bred, very similar to that. But he definitely has the heart, and he's definitely aggressive. So I'm going to go to Dustin first. How did you feel about Trevor Peak's performance? Were you impressed, or were you just like, I've seen better?
I've seen better, cleaner.
Yep.
To be honest with you. I've seen better knockouts. I've seen faster knockouts. I've seen more technical knockouts. Now, am I impressed that he put it on, dude? Yeah, I mean, that's what you're supposed to. You're supposed to go in there and finish. I respect that. But when it comes to his skill, when he starts climbing the ranks, bro, you better tighten that shit up because that shit ain't gonna work. All that rushing and all that street fighting bullshit, bro, you're gonna get touched, bro.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are like, well, he's tough, and I'm like, well, until you face a top 15 contender that lands a head kick right on your shit. And I mean, like, we'll see how tough you are at that point because fighters like that, I'm sorry, they don't last. Name me one top 5 fighter that fights like that. They don't. They're skilled. They're tight. They're very technical. They can land shots from anywhere. They can get a shot from anywhere. If you fight like that and you rush all the time, you're going to get beat up. Now, he's got plenty of time to improve. I'll say that. He's got plenty of time. I'm not hating. I'm going to watch him next time. I'm a fan. But all that hammer fisting in the air and shit like that, come on, bro. You're about to get – you're going to throw that to the wrong person and get stomped on. And I'm on the fence because Twitter was going nuts. But I was like, look, that ain't going to work when he gets up into the top rank. That ain't going to work. Once he starts facing the better competition, I just don't believe it's going to work.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, CJ, I know you probably didn't watch this fight, but if you saw some of the highlights, what do you think about Trevor Peek, or are you just kind of going by our word at this point?
Yeah. I missed the fight. Sorry, guys. I had work. Missed the whole thing. So.
Do you have ESPN Plus?
Yeah, I do. Yeah,
it's on demand.
Okay, it's on demand. All right.
I'll watch it.
I'll watch it back. I'm gonna watch it back for sure. But I mean, on you guys. You guys, let me know. How great it was and what happened.
All right. Speaking of other fighters, I want to talk about my Canadian boy from Burlington, Ontario, Mike Proper Mallet. Okay, he fought against somebody that was supposed to be. I don't know if he was the favorite, but he was definitely one person to watch out for because he has that overhand right that is very dangerous. Now, what happened during the fight, for people that didn't see, was that he got him into like a very interesting arm triangle. Now, he wasn't actually, according to my partner who is a black belt in jiu-jitsu, wasn't really in the proper position, but the guy tapped anyway. So it kind of shows the lack of defense on the ground when it came to jiu-jitsu and grappling, when it came to his opponent. So Mike Mallet definitely made a statement for that. Dustin, I'm going to go to you first. What do you think about the performance? I definitely could. It could have been cleaner in terms of the actual arm triangle, but he got it done at the end of the day.
Yeah, I've seen cleaner arm triangles, but I'll tell you what, when he took that full mount, bro, he cranked that motherfucker. I mean, like, it may not have been the cleanest, because when you get someone in an arm triangle, if you don't do it right, it can turn into a neck crank. So if you do it wrong, it'll start cranking the neck. So basically, when he took that full mount and he cranked it up like that, dude, that shit had to hurt. Like, I was like, man, when he got to that tight and cranked it when he took him out, I was like, that looked painful. So I mean, I understand why he taps, because that shit can turn into a neck injury. Because when you do it the wrong position, it turns into a neck injury. And I'm like, I'd tap too. That shit, my neck finna crack. I was like, no, I'm good, man. I'm tapping the fuck out. So I understand. I understand why he tapped, because that shit got tight. It may not have been the most technical, but it got tight and dangerous. That shit was about to hurt.
For sure. I mean,
those arm triangles are no joke.
Did you see the highlight from the arm triangle? Did you witness that, or you have to watch it back on demand?
Yeah. Yeah, I have to watch it back. But again, with those triangles, those arm triangles are tough. Are definitely tough to get out of. When Islam put that on Charles,
Islam's
that grip was different. It was definitely a different type of hold that he had on Charles. And
that's
the submission legend, the best. So
that was my go-to, because it's the easiest to land when people ain't paying attention. Arm triangles, you put that head under that arm. Yep, it's game from there. I loved arm triangles. That was the first one I ever landed. It was an arm triangle, because it's the easiest one to get when people aren't paying attention.
Nice. I like landing it too in class because it doesn't matter like what your size is. It's like basically if you get that arm underneath the head and then you finger walk a little bit closer and you get that right under the neck, like it's like game over, you know. So it's a lot of fun. I definitely agree with that. Another fighter that was really impressive that was on a 3 to 4 year hiatus is Miss Tatiana Suarez. The queen is back, people. She delivered an amazing guillotine against Montaña de la Rosa, who, if anybody didn't notice, she had a wardrobe malfunction in the middle of the match.
Yeah.
So a lot of people were commenting on that. I know
did see
there was
that.
everywhere. It's like everywhere on Twitter, guys. Literally all the different malfunctions that the females have to go through. But the point is that Tatiana is back. She did not skip a beat whatsoever. She was dominating pretty much the entire fight. I'm gonna go to Dustin first because obviously we watched the card together. So, what did you think about Tatiana Suarez? Were you impressed? Are you like convinced that she might make a run for the title sometime soon?
That's Mrs. Khabib. That's literally Mrs. Khabib. Like when it comes to her wrestling, dude, she's ridiculous. She's probably one of the best female wrestlers I've seen. She'll hold you down like very well. She'll control very well. And you know what, De La Rosa was bitching about her shirt. And I was like, first of all, she had her arms wrapped around. She had a hand lock behind you. I don't care if your shirt was going bad or not. You wouldn't have stopped her. And I was like, number two, I was like, the UFC offers you to wear a shirt. So if you don't want those problems, stop wearing a tank top. I mean, it is what it is.
I did see you tweet that.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're gonna, yeah, when someone's got like position on you and they pull that shirt a little bit, sure, they're gonna pop out. But it's just like, again, if you have a sizable chest and you wear that tank top, it is what it is. You need to wear a shirt. You need to wear something else that protects you from, getting embarrassed or whatever you may think is going to happen. So I get it. I get what she's saying to the, like, oh, it should be better, but you're wearing a spandex tank top, dude. Like, what do you think is going to fucking happen? That's my opinion on it. And they do offer a different, it's not like they're making you wear lingerie in the fight, bro. Like that's just not happening.
Right.
I actually did see someone say the NWA should have a lingerie night, and I was like, that's fucking disgusting. I was like, hell no. I tweeted that shit too. I was like, the day I see Brittany Griner in some lingerie, that's more enough for me to not watch that shit. So therefore, but at the same time, it's like you could have wore a shirt, you could have picked a different outfit, quit complaining. You're just mad you got stomped. Like Tatiana was off for 4 years, and you still got out-grappled. I mean, it's ridiculous. So she got beat up. She was just kind of salty. I'm gonna be honest, in my opinion. But Tatiana is definitely a title challenger, and she's already beat the top girls, dude. She's just gonna do it for round 2. Now, is she gonna beat the champ? We'll see. But especially if she stayed at 125. She goes at Valentina. I don't know about that one. But if she goes for Wei Lee,
going for straw weight. I heard she's going down to straw weight to face.
If she goes to Wei Lee, she's got a big ass shot. Big shot. Like,
yeah.
She said she wanted to fight Rose, so.
Oh, she'll out wrestle Rose too. She'll dominate both of them. I'm telling you, Mrs. Khabib. That's all she got to do.
Yeah, she's very talented. I remember watching her before she got hurt, and then she kind of took some time off. Obviously, the pandemic played a factor and everything too. She was dominant. I did see her highlights. She was dominant, and her wrestling, like Dustin just said, there's going to be a problem for both divisions, really, for both divisions. Valentina obviously is a legend, and we'll talk about her in a little bit in her upcoming fight. And so that's going to be a tough fight, but the wrestling, if you have that base, if you get somebody on the ground, control their legs, you take away somebody's legs. I mean, it's not too much you can do after that.
So.
It's over, and she, and she's training with other guys and using her strength. So when she goes in the octagon, with these women, it's easy work. So I could see her being champion definitely. She continues to stay active during this year.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, you know what I was thinking about, because we were talking about how she's considered like Mrs. Khabib in the UFC, especially, and in MMA. So You know what? The other person that has really good wrestling is obviously we all know her, Carla Esparza, really known for her wrestling as well. I think Tatiana Suarez has a little bit better wrestling, but Carla is also obviously really talented as well in the strawweight division. So imagine if they both went at it, that'd be hilarious because then it would be like who's gonna take someone down first if two wrestlers kind of face each
They
other.
fought already, right?
Tatiana's a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
That's as far as his problem. She don't got the size.
Yeah.
Didn't they fight?
I believe they did.
Yeah.
Tatiana already beat her.
Yeah. Tatiana already beat her because they interviewed her and they asked her, like, somebody asked, do you want to fight a former champion, Carla or Rose?
Mhm.
She was like, I already dismantled Carla. We don't want to see that again.
Yeah.
She was like,
She beat Alex Grasso.
You're right.
I believe.
Yes,
Yeah.
so she's on her way. Either she could hold two belts. She has that type of talent to definitely
Mhm.
hold two belts simultaneously. If that's one of her goals, and that's what it looks like because she's
Well,
about 25.
It's interesting that you say that, CJ, because when I think about it, everybody saw what happened with Valentina when she faced Talia Santos, right? She got exposed big time, especially on the ground. She got taken down a lot of times. She was in very compromised situations. And I feel like Tatiana Suarez, with her, elite wrestling, can do the same thing with Valentina. And Valentina would definitely have to work on her defense on the ground for sure when it came to that. But one more fighter that I wanted to talk about for UFC Vegas 70, and I think we all know who it's going to be. It's the last fight of the night, which was very surprising to many people. Brendan Allen with the fucking win. Okay, guys? Most people did not bet on Allen. And you know why? I don't blame them because Muniz had the better jiu-jitsu. She had incredible jiu-jitsu, like literally one of the best, obviously not like Dubront's best, but obviously compared to many other fighters, it was up there when it came to skill. And a lot of people thought he was just going to armbar her. Didn't happen. Allen controlled the fight, dominated on the feet, got him down, and submitted him. And so, Dustin, I'm going to go to you. Was this very surprising to you? I'm not surprised, and I won the bet, so I'm a very happy girl.
When I was watching the fight as it was going, Muniz was so much fucking bigger. Like, I was like, why is this dude so huge? And, like, I was sitting over there, and I was like, dude, this dude looks like he should be fighting John Jones or some shit. Like, his arms were huge. I was sitting over there, and I was kind of looking at him. I was like, I didn't think Brendan Allen could win because when Muniz was touching him, bro, it was bad. Like, he was landing that shit. He was piecing him. And then Brandon Allen, he was just a fighter, man. He's just a fighter. When he threw that kick, he was prepared. He threw that kick. Brandon Allen caught it, took his ass down. It was over from there. I mean, and that is what it is. If someone gets a clean single leg, lands in side control, lands straight up in that side mount, dude, that's tough.
Yeah,
that is tough. I don't care who you are. If you have a guy the same size as you, laying on your chest and applying pressure, it's very hard to get up. It is what it is. It's just if you have someone at the same weight putting pressure on your chest and doing it correctly, it's very hard to get up. So I don't blame him for not getting up because, hey man, I know what it's like to be in side mount with a guy my size, and it was the most uncomfortable thing I ever went through in my life. I had to stop the dude one time, and I was like, I don't even know what to do, bro. I was like, I can't even breathe, man. It's your big ass on me. Like literally, I'm telling you, it's rough when guys put pressure on you like that. And it's like, but at the same time, he did have good ground game. But hey, Brendan Allen fought. He fought. And he was the better fighter. He could have the better ground game, but when it comes to a fight where I can elbow, I can hit, I can do certain maneuvers, it turns into a whole different ball game. So, man, hats off to him. He beat the better fighter in a lot of people's eyes. And he's going to get better fights from now on. And he showed his gut. So I like it. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, he showed a lot of heart. He showed a lot of heart for sure. I remember seeing after the fight, the main event got called off between Spann and Kurloff. People say, oh, Brendan Allen, he's going to lose. He's not going to win this fight. And, then when I get home, I see it like, oh, he got the dub. And by submission, too. And Muniz was a heavy submission guy. I believe he fought Uriah Hall, maybe a couple pay-per-views ago. I think I might have seen him.
That's my biggest disappointment in UFC history. I don't even like to talk.
Oh, Uriah Hall? Yeah.
Yeah,
a lot of people thought he was going to be the next one up. But, yeah, he had the heart. He had the heart. And then sometimes, even if you may not be the most skilled guy in a certain category, if you have that will, and determination, and he understood what a loss could mean for his career, and he went out there and made the most of it. Everybody watching, so kudos to him and great victory.
Yeah, for sure, guys. Like a lot of great fights. CJ, you have to like rewatch this card. Like it was amazing.
You should watch. You should watch some of those prelims fights. Those were good. The only reason I watched them really those because I didn't have shit to do. My wife was at work, so I was like, I usually don't, but I watched them and I was thoroughly impressed. I was glad I watched them. It was a good one.
For sure, guys. Okay, so very exciting. We are finally at the part of the whole show that I'm super excited about. We are gonna talk about UFC 285 from start to finish of the main card. Okay, I wish Alec was here because he usually gets some shout outs for the prelims, but I'm sure he would do that regardless if he's still in the comments. Okay.
Oh, for the prelims?
Yeah, so he usually
definitely
does the shout outs for the prelims, yes.
Brunson Duplessis, middleweight bout.
Yes.
Ooh, that's going to be good. That's going to be
Cody versus Trevin would be interesting as well.
Yes.
These prelims are always stacked on these big ass cards.
That's the last fight. That's the last fight before the main card, right? Garbrandt and Jones.
Yes.
Yeah, and then
Garbrandt better win that shit. He's going to the belt. So.
Ian Gary.
Yes.
Up and comer. He's gonna be making some noise. See if he's able to get a finish. Who else? I think the prelims is good too. The prelim card is exactly. Yeah, he's a beast. He's a beast. But Brunson, he's known to kind of kill some hype. Remember Shabazian kind of ended that hype a little bit with his wrestling. But he's kind of wild up. He's kind of wild with the stand up. He kind of is too unorthodox, it's too lazy, and Cannonier caught him. So that's going to be a fun fight because Duplessis bodied Darren Till. I'm surprised they didn't call it. That should have been a stoppage. It should have definitely been a stoppage. But that's going to be a fun fight as well.
I knew Darren Till was not going to be good in that fight. I mean, it was when you had that big of a layoff and you take a step up in competition like that, they should have warmed him up. In my opinion, they should have gave him somebody. I'm not saying give him like a low ranked fighter, but they should have gave him somebody a little bit easier, in my opinion, like to warm him up. Give him do a Paddy the Baddy style. They give him a bunch of trash cans and he barely could beat them. So, but it comes to a point where we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, speaking of Paddy the Baddy, guys, did you actually think he won against Jared Gordon, or do you think it was fixed?
No, I didn't think he won that fight. I didn't think he won that fight at all.
I didn't think he won it either, but he's like so marketable. They're like skyrocketing him kind of in a way in the UFC. So am I surprised they gave him that? No.
I'm not surprised. He's out with an injury right now, right? He broke his ankle.
Yes.
He's going to have surgery, and he said he might run it back. Since the fight was close, he might run it back with Gordon.
It wasn't close. Gordon won.
Well, I mean, since the fight was called close, but yeah, Gordon definitely.
Well, yeah, by Paddy the Baddy, he said it was close. Nobody else thought it was close.
But I still think Gordon should have a couple fights though. He shouldn't wait for Paddy and then have that rematch. No, you're not on that level. You're not on that level to wait. Get a couple fights going and get your name out there even more. I mean, show why you should have won the fight. And I think that rematch, leading up to that rematch, it'll make it even more impactful if he's continued to stack W's.
You know who else is pissing me off? Ian Gary. Ian Gary's pissing me off, man. I was so excited for him, and I watched one of his fights. I was like, "You fucking scrub!" I was so mad, bro. I was like, "You are supposed to be the next Conor."
He still got some time. Still got time.
He's got time, but he doesn't have a big as mouth either. And I was like, "Bro, you got to start talking. You got to start talking, bro. You're from Dublin. Your next line to the air. I'm like, bro, you got to start running your mouth or something." And I was like, "You got to start."
I think a lot of fighters from there, they don't want that pressure because, automatically they're going to tie them with Conor.
You already got the pressure. You're already tied to Conor. You're from Dublin.
So that's what I think for him, he should just be. I get what you're saying, and I feel like I watch Chael a lot, and he pretty much kind of says the same thing. Like you have to sell yourself if you want to make as much money as possible.
Are you talking about Chael Sonnen?
Chael Sonnen, yeah, sorry, yeah, Chael Sonnen.
I like him, dude. He's so damn funny.
So I get
funny guys,
but
like when it comes to like doing breakdowns of fights, he goes off on tangents, and I'm like, what happened to the actual breakdown of the fight? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, I only watch it for the tangent. The breakdowns. If I want to see breakdowns, I watch Dan Hardy.
yeah.
DC can do it. DC does it pretty well.
Cejudo's starting to up his content now. Oh man, I love Cejudo's.
I'm just waiting for him. I'm waiting for him to get off the fucking couch because he keeps telling me he's gonna fight, and it just never happens. So
waiting on Aljo May 6th, right? Allegedly.
I don't know. He keeps saying he's gonna beat Aljo. And I'm like, I'm not sure about that, buddy.
I think he's gonna beat Aljo, and I want to see him fight Alex at 145. That's a super fight. So
guys, did you guys see on Twitter? Mr. Cejudo was rolling with none other than Demetrius Johnson. I was so pumped when I saw that. I was like,
that shit. I'm sorry, that shit was whack. That shit was so whack.
It was whack. I thought it was.
I was like, DJ, quit kissing his ass, man. He won the fucking split decision. He barely beat you. Quit kissing his ass. No, if I was DJ, I would not like him. I'm sorry. There ain't no damn way.
They got great chemistry. They have great chemistry.
It couldn't be me. There ain't no damn way I'd sit there and like Sayer Cejudo if I was fucking Mighty Mouse.
Yeah, exactly. Alex said they're best friends now.
They called him Vegeta and Goku. I was like, you understand Goku beat the shit out of Vegeta all the time. Like, you obviously didn't watch the show because Goku stomping Vegeta's ass.
I know it worked out for DJ, kind of in a way. But if he would have stayed in the UFC, him versus Figueiredo and Moreno,
he would have beat all of them.
He would have just waited. If the UFC would have just waited a couple more months or a year or so, because Dana was really just trying to get rid of the division, which is so trash. If he would have just waited just a little bit, the fights we could have seen with Demetrius.
Well, who knows? It wouldn't still be trash because Mighty Mouse would beat them all. So.
True. At least I would think it'd be a little bit more competitive now. From what we've seen.
Who's underrated is Dodson. A lot of people thought Dodson when the only reason he didn't climb to better ranks is because DJ was there.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, that was it.
That's it. It's just like Colby Covington with Usman. If Usman wasn't in the way, Colby Covington would be the champ, and that's how it is. It's crazy how that works, man. DC, same with John Jones. John Jones is kryptonite. Beating his ass. Ain't nothing you can do about it. Now you just that's how it is.
All right, guys. I know we went off in a little bit of a tangent, but we are going to start talking about UFC 285. I'm so excited. Guys, first match of the fucking night, Bo Nickel versus Jamie Pickett. And yes, I have a lock. I have plus 500 on Bo Nickel getting the KO in the first round. I know it's a little bit risky, but you know what? I can see it after seeing some of his performances and, looking at his potential. You never know. I'm taking a risk. I'm going to bet on that. Maybe win a couple of bucks. We'll see if it happens. But I obviously have Bo Nickel winning this fight. A lot of people actually are picking Pickett, surprisingly, because I think they're thinking Bo Nickel's a little bit overrated. Now, this is obviously one of his first tests in the UFC after the Contender Series, which a lot of people thought was bullshit that he had to fight 2 times, finish guys 2 times in the Contender Series to get a contract. CJ, I'm going to go to you first. How do you feel about Bo Nickel? Do you think he has a chance in this? Do you think my bet might hit? What do you think?
Your bet definitely might hit. A big fan of Bo Nickel. 3-time national champion at Penn State. He's phenomenal. He's at ATT right now in Florida. So the training he's getting, the experience, the coaching, Masvidal, Poirier, all those guys have done it. Dan Lambert, he's done a great job over there down there in Florida. So he's getting top coaching. Even though this is his debut. Even though, yeah, you're right. He had to fight. He shouldn't have fought 2 fights in the Contender Series, but the second fight, increased the hype even more. With that punch into the knockdown, and him, for him to get his back that quickly, it's crazy. It was insane. It was insane. I think we can see the same thing because Pickett, I'm sure, is worried about the wrestling, so he could definitely get caught with the hands. So it's very possible that if Bo Nickel could touch him early, a couple feints, thinking he's about to shoot, and he puts his hands down, he could definitely get rocked. So I think Bo Nickel is going to win this fight either way by stoppage. He's dominant. He has too much experience with wrestling. I just can't see Pickett get it put in a training camp together that quickly, the game plan for someone as dominant as Bo Nickel in the wrestling. So I got Bo Nickel in that one for sure. And I think your money, you should get some money. You should get some money on that.
For sure, Alec has some really wise words. As you can see, guys, he's been commenting this whole show, so you can see how badly he wants to just jump in and have an Alex rant of the week. So bad. But really good points. Basically saying Bo has 2 subs in less than 2 minutes. Tough fight, but Bo has been planning this day for years, and definitely rightfully so. Dustin, do you think my bet's a little bit too ambitious, or do you think it could be possible that he can get the KO or TKO in the first round?
I don't know about that TKO. Now, if you told me he might try to sub him in the first round, I probably would agree with you. I think that's a big one.
Yeah.
But Bo Nickel, people are saying Bo Nickel's overrated. Look, man, there ain't no such thing as being overrated. When you win 3 national titles in several different weight classes at the university, there's no such thing as being overrated. That dude is a physical freak. That's just being real. He's been wrestling all his life, and I don't give a shit what Jamie Pickett does. There is nothing you can do to imitate a guy like that. There's nothing you can do. I don't give a shit who you bring in. I don't care who it is. It's not Bo Nickel. They ain't better, unless you bring in that dude Jordan Childs, I believe. Not Jordan Childs. There's a guy that's actually really crazy. Unless you bring him in, I don't think. And if you bring him in, ain't gonna be no practice. You finna be on your back. I mean, it's like. So when people say like, "Oh, I brought wrestlers into camp," okay, you were getting put on your ass. It's not like you over there learning how to wrestle, because you weren't. They were dominating you. If you got on the mat with those guys, if they were taking it easy on you, maybe you could learn a few things. Bo Nickel ain't gonna take it easy on you, man. Like he's gonna be grabbing them limbs. He's gonna be doing some stupid shit to you. He's gonna be punching you at the same time. Now he doesn't have the restriction of punching. And so when he gets you in a bad position, he's gonna punch you in your shit. That's even worse. So it's like Bo Nickel, Jamie Pickett is a tough fight, and that's a big step up in competition to what he's used to. But at the same time, he does have a very dominant part of the game. And he has good hands. Bo Nickel is not a stranger to the feet. I've watched him bang a dude, like straight right hand, flush to the jaw, knock him the fuck out. Like that dude can strike. So we'll see. But I think Bo Nickel's winning. But I think it's gonna be closer than people think. I don't think it's gonna be a first round finish. I think Bo Nickel is gonna learn what it's like to be under the bright lights of the UFC. He says he's used to it because he fought in a national title match with a bunch of fans. It's not the UFC, dog. Right, I'm sorry. It's not the UFC. Like, those fans are crazy. It's loud as shit the whole time. No, you haven't experienced nothing like a main card like this. But at the same time, we'll see. I'm picking Bo Nickel, but not by first round. I think he'd sub him in the first round over TKO.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. What's called? We have a few more fights to talk about before the ultimate main event. Oh my gosh, so excited. We have Mateusz Gamrot lightweight versus Jalen Turner, which is actually a lot of people's pick for potential fight of the night. You know, besides obviously the main event, a lot of people have been talking about that, especially on Twitter. I'm gonna go first. I do have a bet on this one as well. I have this gut feeling that Jalen Turner is going to turn it up, and we'll see a really vicious side of him. Now, I like Gamrot too, don't get me wrong. It's just that I feel like Turner is just a step above him, and I think he might win. So I just got him to win the actual match. I believe if anybody is interested, it's a plus 182, so not bad odds whatsoever. I'm going to go to Dustin first. How do you feel about this matchup? Who do you think is going to win?
Who's after that fight? I'm sorry. I'm trying to think. I'm thinking of the order. I'm sorry.
You mean after the fight? Like the next
No.
one?
Who's fighting this one? After Bo Nickel? I'm sorry.
Jalen Turner versus Mateusz Gamrot.
Gamrot. I think I can't see Gamrot losing this one. That's hard. That's hard to see him lose. I don't think Gamrot's losing this fight. Gamrot said he's a super talented fighter. It's super hard for me to go against. So we'll see. But this is one of the fights that I'm not too heavy on. I think it's going to be back and forth. But I think Gamrot's going to win it.
I think somebody's
Okay, yeah. Do you have audio? Is this the audio problem?
yeah. No, it's not on my side.
Okay, one second. I'm gonna leave the stream and then you guys continue and then we'll see what's going on. Oh, is it better now? I think it's a little bit better now, right?
I still hear it.
Okay, give me 1 second. Let's see. How about now? Is it a little bit better or is it still muffly?
It might be me. I think it's
Okay, no problem.
My mic's been muted.
Okay, let's see. Is this better now or is it still muffly?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's a little bit staticky still for some reason. I got a phone call and all of a sudden it became like
That makes sense. When I get phone calls, it does that too.
Okay, let's see. Okay, there
Yeah,
is
I'm gonna do the
something. Okay, I think what we're gonna do right now is that CJ, if we leave the stream, okay, and then we restart it with the link,
Okay.
because it's still very staticky, and I apologize because for some reason I got a call, and that's what happened. So we're gonna leave the stream, guys. We'll be back to talk about UFC 285. So stick around, and we'll be back. Okay, 1 second, guys. Hey, Dustin.
All right, that's a lot better.
Oh yeah, see, I think it's like we just have to restart it because I got a phone call or something. So
It's okay. Now we're good.
what's it called?
Tell CJ.
Oh, yeah, it's still going live for some reason because we didn't stop the stream. So we're just waiting for CJ, and then we can still talk about what's gonna happen during this fight. So I apologize to everybody that's watching. Shit happens. Let's see. Let's add CJ. Hey, CJ.
What's going on?
Yeah, much better. Okay,
Yeah.
so where do we leave off? So before I got the phone call, I believe Dustin was talking about how Gamrot's probably gonna win this fight, but he was kind of hesitant. He wasn't too sure.
It's a tough one for me. This is a fight I really don't have a dog in. Like this is what I'm gonna enjoy just watching because I think it's pretty evenly matched. I think Gamrot's a good, probably a little bit better on the ground, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think Gamrot is definitely better on the ground. This was supposed to be Turner versus Hooker, but Hooker unfortunately wasn't able to be a part of the fight. So Gamrot came in and stepped in. He took the L to Dariush in his last fight.
Ooh, that's what I was remembering. I'm glad CJ reminded me of that.
Yeah. So it's definitely a up in competition for Jalen Turner for sure. I mean, even though he put away Brad Riddell pretty easily, I was pretty impressive when he put him away like that. But now going up against Gamrot, who's really kind of in the mix. I mean, because Dariush is right there, pretty much.
Talented young guy.
Talented young guy. So he's able to get a spectacular finish in a fight that I think is really even. One of the probably most even fights outside of the main event. So it's a big moment for Turner, man. He can get 50K and really make a name for himself and usurp himself in that lightweight division. Because if he becomes a guy in that division, that just makes the lightweight division even more competitive, even more exciting for the potential fights that we could see down the road.
For sure. Okay, so when Dustin comes back, we are gonna start talking about the next fight, which is a welterweight bout. I am so excited for this one. This whole main card is literally like vicious. Okay, that's the best word I can say it because literally just full of freaking talent. I have Jeff Neal facing against Shavkat Ramonov. So exciting to talk about because Ramonov is just on a freaking roll, okay? He is unstoppable at this point. I'm gonna go to Dustin if you're ready to talk about one of your favorite fighters. I know that Ramonov is on your radar for sure. Who do you think's gonna win this fight?
I'm gonna be honest. I keep not paying attention. Who is it?
Oh,
I don't have the fight card in front of me. Usually I do.
Oh.
So
it's okay. It's Shavkat Ramonov versus Jeff Neal.
I don't like Jeff Neal. I'm gonna be
Yeah, me
honest.
either.
This is a set him up fight for Shavkat, and Jeff Neal's not winning this fight. And this is a bowling pin fight. Like set him up, let him get knocked down, and move the contender up. That's exactly what this fight is to me.
I see that, but you know what? You know what this fight also reminds me of? Another welterweight fight. Just not as that level, but I do see a little bit of Burns and Chimaev, a little bit, because obviously Shavkat has a lot of hype around him, 16-0, deservedly so. His grappling, his wrestling. A lot of people don't want to see that in the welterweight division, and a lot of guys kind of in that frame that's right there in route to the title. Wonder Boy, some of these they don't want to have an L against him, and as he's trying to move up. But Jeff Neal, he's a veteran. He has power in his hands. I think this could be a really good fight. This could be a good fight if he's able to control the takedowns. But if Rakhmonov is able to get him to the ground, and do what he does in terms of grappling, pressure, just making it difficult for Jeff, just like what he did to Neil Magny, dismantle Neil Magny. If we get that same Shavkat in this fight against Neil, it's going to be a quick fight. But the way Neil talked about his last few losses before the win he got, he was dealing with some things. So if he's motivated, he's locked in, looking at the embedded, it looks like he's ready to go. And I think it's going to be a really good fight.
Yeah, for sure. I think Ramonov, I think he's just so versatile, and especially on the ground, just so impressive. I just see him being so successful in the future. I don't know what that entails because I'm really excited about the welterweight division now. So having people like Ramonov in there, it makes it really exciting to me. Obviously, we're gonna wait to see who wins Usman versus Edwards, which is happening very soon as well. But other than that, I'm very excited to see what he can do. I think he's gonna get the win. I just think he's more well-rounded than Jeff Neal. No offense to him. And if anybody wants to talk bets, okay, I would, if I was everybody, I would parlay Bo Nickel, Ramonov, Shevchenko, and Jones. That would be a really good parlay because I know a lot of them are favorites, but if you parlay them, you can get a plus sign. So if anybody is interested in that, I would parlay those fighters on the main card, okay?
I'm sorry, I'm still pissed off at TJ Dillashaw for fucking my $250 up. I'm so mad about that, bro. You cannot.
Against Aljo?
He fought with a broken shoulder. I wanted to swift kick him in the balls. I swear. Bro, I swear, I don't think you understand. I wanted to jump from the top of the cage and Superman punch his ass when he lost me. I was so fucking mad. Sugar Sean O'Malley won. I got that right. I got the main event right. But his stupid ass fought with a broken shoulder. I'll never forget it. I'll never forget it, bro. It's always going to be on my mind. I'm glad he retired. Fuck you, TJ.
Yeah, I had a 12 fight parlay. You know when Khabib versus Gaethje?
So
I was one fight off. I think it was Walt Harris got kicked in the liver. I was so pissed off. I was so close to winning that parlay, like this close. Oh my gosh! So
lost me 250 bones, man. I will never forget that shit. I'm so mad.
You're never gonna be a TJ fan. I know you weren't ever really a TJ fan to begin with, but you're definitely not anymore. That's for sure.
No.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, guys, this is it. We are going to talk about the co-main event and the main event. So exciting. I need a drum roll or something. But, okay, we are going to talk about the co-main event first. We got two badass women facing against each other in the women's flyweight division. Obviously, we know who the champ is, Valentina Shevchenko versus Mexico's own Alexa Grasso. Now, I'm going to start first because this fight is so dear to my heart. I love both of them for different reasons. Grasso has come a long way, just improving. And not only that, surprising people with her grappling skills in the last match, which was really fun to watch. However, she is facing against probably the fiercest woman, besides maybe Amanda Nunes. Maybe people can argue about that. In the UFC and maybe all of MMA, Valentina Shevchenko is a beast. Technically, one of the most skilled fighters, if not one of the most skilled fighter in the UFC, that's for sure. And I just think in the actual fight, that doesn't matter like where it is, on the ground, standing up, she is going to dominate, and she's going to learn from the mistakes that she made with Talia Santos. So I'm going to go with CJ. Who do you think is going to win this fight? Do you think it's going to be closer than what many people are saying? Probably not. Do you think it's going to be dominant? What do you think?
I think it's going to be a dominant performance by Valentina. Alexa Grasso is obviously a game competitor. Definitely probably going to bring a big fight. Like you just talked about her grappling in her last fight, so I'm sure that's going to give her a lot of confidence going against Valentina, considering the fact that, like you said, Valentina did struggle against Santos on the ground. So if she, she has a camp that's predicated towards that, and making sure that's could be an advantage for her, then it could be interesting, like we saw against Santos. But I'm also sure Valentina looked at that fight. She said that wasn't her best night, and she wants to come out and have a big time performance like we're accustomed to seeing her do. I think automatically think about the knockout against Jessica Eye. She put her to sleep. So I know she's going to want to make a statement. Obviously, the last fight wasn't her best performance. And I just think, again, being on a John Jones card, I think everybody's going to want to show up and try to, make a big time move throughout the whole card, because it's going to be so many eyes on this card, not just from, purists, but from casuals as well, because we have a guy like John Jones. So I can see Valentina definitely, trying to get a stoppage in this one, and maybe calling somebody out, maybe calling Amanda out after for the trilogy, or maybe calling someone down in the rankings in her division.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Dustin, I think I might know who you're gonna pick in this one, but what do you think is gonna happen in this fight? Do you think it's gonna be dominant?
And this is why we invite CJ on the show. He's just a smart man. Just a smart man. Yeah, Valentina is going to Valentina, this is not a good fight. I don't care what anybody says. Alex Grasso is not going to come close. In my complete opinion, this is the division's getting boring for Valentina fight. That's exactly what it is to me. I'd rather see Talia Santos too. And to be real, let's be real. Everybody always wants to say every time a champ has a hard fight that they got exposed. Like, okay, every champ has a hard fight. Muhammad Ali had Joe Frazier. I mean, dude, every champ has a rival. It is what it is. Usman has Covington that really took him to deep waters before when he was dominant. Usman, Jones had Gustafsson that got on his ass. And honestly, Jones had Dominic Reyes that got on his ass. And then people need to stop forgetting that shit, because he won that fight. I don't give a shit what anybody says.
Oh, let's go wait till the main event. We can talk about
3-2. It was 3-2. I've watched that fight 3 fucking times. I'm telling you right now, that's 3-2. That's not Jones's fight, but we'll get over it. So when it comes to this, every champion has one rival that's a problem. There's only one champion I know that always gets his lunch taken by his rival, and it's Adesanya. That's it. He's the only one that gets his lunch taken by his rival every time he sees him. Shit, left hand, bro. Alex Pereira is the biggest hater I've ever seen. He just sees, is he happy? He's like, fuck that. So we'll see. Valentina's going to dominate her. Talia Santos is just the kryptonite, dude. She has the perfect body. She's got the skill set, and she is a problem for Valentina. Honestly, I want Valentina to beat her and then go on and let me get that super fight between her and Amanda Nunes. That's what I need to see. We need to elevate women's MMA. And this fight right here in women's MMA, if they make this Valentina versus Nunes, is gonna be fucking big, man. I'm telling you, it's gonna be huge. Now, why Dana doesn't do it? Don't ask me. He let Izzy fight Jan and let him get beat up. I mean, shit. I mean, you let Islam face Volk, and Volk was twice. Islam was twice his size. It got embarrassed, if you ask me. So, what's the thing keeping that fight from happening? Makes no sense. The co-main event is probably the easiest to judge. Valentina gonna beat her ass. Now this is the easiest one to judge for me.
Now we'll say Team Mexico has done a great job this year in the UFC. Brandon Moreno
That's going in.
He just recaptured the title. Yair just got the featherweight interim championship. So
I think it's going in here, man.
I agree. I'm not betting against Valentina. She's a beast. So, but
smart
again,
man.
That is a factor, and maybe she's inspired by what she saw from Yair and Brandon, and makes it a competitive fight. I think
they better get together and pray, and they better get together and fucking do some Dragon Ball Z shit. Where like they do. I don't know, because she ain't beat Valentina, bro.
They got to do something, come together. Yeah, something has to happen there. She's too dominant.
For sure. Oh my gosh, guys. We are at that point. We are finally here. It is Jon Jones versus Ciryl Gane for the fucking heavyweight championship of the world in UFC. So, okay. I will be very surprised if we are not on the same page, guys. Okay? Even Alec is probably going to be on the same page as us if I am reading this room correctly. So, I'm going to go last, but I'm going to start with Dustin first. Dustin, easy question. Who do you think is going to win the title in this fight?
I'm going to be honest, y'all always going to be surprised by my opinions on stuff sometimes you think is obvious. Here's the only problem I have with this fight. If Jon Jones just doesn't wrestle this dude, he's stupid. I'm going to be completely honest. If I was Jon Jones, I would turn Khabib on Ciryl Gane. That boy wouldn't be able to get up. And I'm telling you right now, I would have him I'd put him on his back every 2 seconds I could get if I was Jon Jones. That boy is huge. I saw Jon Jones. He looks like a damn house.
Yeah.
I was like, you sure? You sure you ain't on Zillow? Like, bro, you got 3 bedrooms in that motherfucker, bro. He is huge. And I was sitting over there and I was like, bro, he gonna beat the shit out of Ciryl Gane. Right? I'm sitting over here and I'm just like, the only chance Ciryl Gane's got is if Jon Jones does not he goes Michael Chandler and decides to give up fights. That's it. And I don't think Jon Jones can, bro. He's too intelligent. He knows what he's about to do to this man. I can see it. I can tell. He knows what he's about to do to this man. Jon Jones knows, and he's very cautious. That's what people don't understand about Jon Jones. Very cautious fighter. Now, bro, he doesn't do stupid stuff. He only does stupid stuff when he knows he's going to land it. And I'm telling you right now, he's going to wrestle Ciryl Gane. Ciryl Gane got babied by Francis. And let's not say that Francis is a good wrestler. Because he's not. He's just not. And he did that with torn knees. What do you think a healthy Jon Jones is going to do? Bro, he finna
making all my points, man.
Jon, dude, he got knocked down by Tuatara Taibos. What do you think is finna happen when you step in there with the GOAT? Bro, I'm telling you, Jon Jones, I'm scared from a little bit if he tries to kickbox. And if he tries to kickbox, Ciryl Gane's got it. He's got a shot. But I'm telling you right now, Jon Jones ain't stupid. He finna go in there and do what he do. Dude does what he does, and he's gonna be the GOAT. And once he beats Ciryl Gane for this heavyweight title, he is the cemented GOAT of MMA, period. No fucking argument.
For sure. I am very convinced that he's not going to go the kickboxing route because he has a better fight IQ than most fighters, for sure.
He's LeBron MMA when it comes to IQ. Like, that dude is crazy.
For sure. Yeah. CJ, I'm going to ask you a very simple question. Who do you think is going to win this fight?
This is a massive fight. You think of the heavyweight division in the UFC historically. Think of Couture. You think of Tim Silva. Obviously, Cain Velasquez. And then Stipe, Francis. JDS, yes, JDS as well. Yes, absolutely. Forgot about JDS. You think the heavyweight championship, even in not just the UFC, boxing as well, is so prestigious. This is a big fight, and I'm gonna go with John. I'm gonna go with John because the wrestling, the fight experience, the title fight experience, dealing with
12
adversity.
years. 12 years straight in title fights, dog. That's fun.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy, man. When they stand up, for me, I feel like yes, Gane definitely is a great striker. He's a phenomenal striker, undefeated in Muay Thai, great kickboxer, and really he stood in front of Francis for 25 minutes and didn't get knocked out. I think a lot of people forget about that too. He didn't get knocked out against. Everybody thought, yeah, Francis was just gonna. As soon as Francis touched him, it was.
I didn't think that.
No, not true because you guys know the game. But that was the lazy narrative that was being put across. Oh, as soon as Francis could touch him, but we saw something different from both guys. We saw Gane ability to stay in front of him and not get touched and be technical and not let that right hand land flush. And then so Francis was like, okay, I have to adjust, and that's when we saw the wrestling. That's when we saw the grappling from Ngannou, which helped him win that fight because he was losing that fight before he switched his game plan up in the championship round before the championship round. So Gane is an excellent fighter. Like it's not this is even though it's not Ngannou, which is what we all wanted to see. This is still an excellent fight for Jon Jones, and it's a tough, difficult fight for Jon Jones to come back after being off 3 years. This is a big fight for him. The one thing I also see with Gane, also before I get to John, is he has heart. Dustin talked about it. He did get rocked by Tai Tuivasa, but he got up and then he stopped Tai Tuivasa.
Oh, he beat the shit out of him, bro.
Right.
He beat the dog shit out of him when he knocked him out. Oh,
and that was kind of the first time I've seen him, battle with some adversity. Because you could say he had adversity in the Ngannou fight, but it wasn't to the level where he got knocked down, knowing a guy like Tai who's gonna throw bombs every single time he moves forward. He struggled. He went through that and finished Tai too, in phenomenal fashion. So that shows me he has a lot of heart. I'm not too caught up on the comments that he was talking about with the lazy and the training. I'm not buying into that because I feel like he knew at some point whether he was going to get the rematch with Ngannou or John was going to come back and he was going to fight John for the title. So I'm sure he mentally prepared himself some way down the road that he was going to be in the title mix, because again, there's really outside of Sergey, that just got announced to be in the backup fighter. Yep. There really isn't a guy that's on that level that you could put for the title. So I'm not really buying those comments. Those are probably again, the media is going to take that and run with it, obviously because it's a big week. Mm-hmm. I still feel like he's going to be a tough fight for John because he does have great striking. He does have great striking, and if John gets touched in a heavier division with more power, will he be able to withstand those type of shots? We're going to have to see that. For John, it's just the title experience again. It's just too much, and he's been in a title fight like Dustin said for over a decade now. I do worry about octagon rust a little bit, just because you're going into you're such a big fight like this. I mean, even when he missed time and he fought OSP before he fought DC again, that it wasn't an easy fight, but it was kind of a tune-up to where it's like, okay, let me get back into the swing of things. Let me feel how it is to be in the octagon for a chance. This is, I mean, you take 3 years off, and then your next fight is a heavyweight title fight against a guy that went 25 minutes with Francis Ngannou. That's a big deal. That's a big jump, and I think there is. It's a big ticket. So I think in the early rounds, there is going to be a little bit of rust. Going to be a filling out process for John. I don't think he's just going to go straight in and start going crazy. But I do think the wrestling is going to play a factor. He has to wrestle. He just has to. The fight against Dom, Santos, and Smith. He just stood in front of those guys.
Yep.
And he never really tried to wrestle those guys. I mean, he did a couple takedowns on Dom, like in the beginning of the fight, and then obviously fourth and fifth round he had to, because I feel like he knew he was losing. But Smith and Santos, he just stood in front of them, and it was just a kickboxing match. He could have obviously used his wrestling. We've seen him use trips and all different types of things and setups to put guys on the ground and finish them however he wants to finish them. But this is a different beast, and this is also a title fight And I look back to when he had his first title fight against Shogun, and the pressure that he had, and he was able to get that W and become the youngest champion in UFC history. Fight experience, octagon IQ.
He beat the shit out of Shogun, by the way.
Yeah, he dominated.
I watched that live. I'll never forget that fight. John Jones beat the fuck out of him. I was like, man,
insane.
I was surprised.
So I mean, so all in all, I'm gonna have to pick John. I'm gonna pick John in round 4. I'm gonna say a round 4, either ground and pound or sub.
Okay, I hear you guys both. Let's go. I think we're on the same page for most of it. I understand most of MMA Twitter is basically like, oh, John Jones is going to dominate, but I think we are a little bit, no offense, more realistic, and knowing that Gane has his game, which is obviously his kickboxing, his stand-up. Now, I know that a lot of people are worried about that, including CJ, but I just know that John moves really well in the octagon. Like, he just knows how to circle. He knows how to get out of situations like that. And then obviously with Gane getting exposed last match, with the wrestling. And it's Ngannou that's wrestling, not John Jones wrestling yet. We haven't seen that yet, right? It's only Ngannou wrestling, which is very preliminary compared to obviously.
Which beat him?
That's what I'm saying, right? That's what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. So, some things that concern me, not about John Jones, but about Gane, is that he mentioned that he didn't actually train much before. If you guys read those comments saying that he didn't actually have a training camp, like a full training camp for the Ngannou fight, or a few matches before that, which is very concerning in my opinion, because I'm like, now you're facing somebody who's considered the GOAT. In MMA, in a UFC, in a huge capacity. So for the fact that you never had a training camp for those guys, you better freaking take this seriously, okay?
Better, dude. You about to get killed. No.
I'm sure, man. He's taking it seriously. He has to. He has to be in the best shape of his entire life.
Exactly. Not only that, it's just that the fact that you need to work on your freaking takedown defense is huge, because John's going to try to shoot. He's not going to try to stand up with you. He might stand up with you a little bit, obviously, get you, maybe back you up in a cage, then take you down. I can definitely see that happening for sure. Other than that, I do have a bet prop on this one. I betted that John Jones might finish this in under 4.5 rounds, which I can definitely see that, especially if he takes him down and submits him, just like CJ says. Can definitely see that happening, so I betted on that. John Jones is obviously the favorite going into this, so if anyone is betting on John Jones, don't expect huge odds or anything like that. No. John Jones, I can see him with the ground and pound. I can see him with the sub. I can see him potentially going to decision, but I don't think it's going to happen, because I think Gane is just going to be exposed again for not having that defense, and I don't think he's going to have enough time to really get that takedown defense over someone like John Jones. Like, you're not facing against Ngannou anymore. You're facing John Jones, who's the best, in the world, right? So that's how I feel about it. Guys, I am beyond excited for this card.
So excited for this card.
Spectacular, fireworks, lightning. Yes.
Off topic, who's ready to see Creed 3? I'm finna be front and center.
Yeah, I want to see it.
I'm finna be so. Too, yeah. I'm about to, bro. I might even come at midnight. Like, I might even do the midnight show. I'm so excited to see that movie, bro. I'm gonna wait for so long.
Yeah, I hope it's good. Oh well, last thing for Gane too. I want to see if Gane, if he commits to his kicks, because like you talked about, like we've been talking about wrestling and John. So, and he got taken down by Ngannou because he tried to go for a kick. That's Ngannou caught the leg and then power slammed into the ground and got side control. So will Gane commit to those kicks that he does a great job of when he goes up against some of these other fighters that, again, are not wrestling based? And if he's if that alone, before we even get into the fight, if John's able to neutralize that without even stepping in the octagon with him yet, and he doesn't use those type of weapons, it makes it a much easier fight for John. So that's going to be interesting for me to see for Ciryl Gane, if he's going to commit to what he does. If he's just himself out there and has fun and does what he needs to do, I think it's going to be a fun fight for sure. Until
if you take away Cyril's legs, if you make him a boxer, John Jones is going to beat him.
Yeah.
I mean, easily. If he takes away kicks, he's not a boxer. He's a kickboxer. There's a difference.
The
And if
one
you
thing
take
that yeah,
if you take away those legs, if he tries to just be a boxer, no, John Jones is gonna beat him easy. And that's yeah.
right. The one thing I saw that Dominic Reyes did when he fought John, because I watched the fight maybe like a couple hours before we got on here. Dominic Reyes, he did a great job of continuing to move.
Yes.
He kept moving. He didn't just stay in front of John the whole fight. And he won the first 2 rounds that way. He was touching John, tagging John.
I think he won the first 3.
Now, as I'm saying, I was gonna get to the third. I was gonna get to the third last because I think John definitely won the championship rounds. That third round, I did think Dom definitely won that third round as well. And that's gonna be interesting. Don is gonna have to continue to move. He's gonna continue to move around and touch John and do things. But also in that Dominic Reyes fight that I saw, John never really felt like he was in danger. He kept pressuring Reyes the whole fight. He was in front of him though. Reyes had to keep touching him and moving around because he's on the back foot. So it's going to be a chess match in there. It's going to be a chess match in there for sure. So I'm so excited to see this fight on Saturday.
I would definitely be devastated if John Jones doesn't win this fight. You know, I just think that he has so much more potential in that division. And obviously, I think his fight IQ is better. I think he's just more well-rounded overall. So it'd be definitely a disappointment if he doesn't win, but I just can't see him losing. It's just very hard, you know. It's because it's John Jones, right? And despite everything that he's done outside the octagon, inside the octagon, he is spectacular. He is definitely GOAT material, and I can't wait to see this match. But at the same time, a little bit worried because Gane is serious. Like, he is great competition. It's just that the fact that he doesn't he hasn't taken these matches seriously makes me a little bit more confident in my bets for sure. Let's go. Any last comments before we wrap this up, guys? Dustin, CJ, anybody?
Yeah, two more for me. It's a question for both you guys. If John does get the victory, do you guys think we see Jones and Ngannou this year? To me, I feel like Ngannou should come back to the UFC. There's not a better fight for him right now than John Jones.
But the thing is, he only cares about money. That's the problem with him. He's so money hungry that's the reason why. Ngannou, yeah, he wants to make that $20 million doing that Tyson Fury boxing match, man. And
in a way, I understand that because that's the type of money that sets you up for life if you do the right things with it. I get that for sure. But what we could potentially have between Jones and Ngannou, and UFC's talking about having a fight in Africa as well, trying to find a country there to try to have a fight. If you do Jones and Ngannou in Africa, that's a massive fight. Again, that's like George Foreman, Ali type stuff. So what do you guys think? Do you guys think Ngannou comes back? I think Jones should call him out right after the fight. If he gets the victory, call him out. What's up? Call his bluff.
I think Ngannou comes back. Because I'm gonna be honest, his ventures outside the UFC ain't gonna go well for him. I'm guys, I'm a big boxing fan. I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm probably as big as a boxing fan as I am as MMA. I know just as much about that sport. And I'm telling you right now that Tyson Fury in a boxing match would beat the living dog shit out of Francis Ngannou. Tyson Fury, you ain't enough, Francis. Bro, if you step in there with Tyson Fury, bro, he is going to fuck you up. I'm sorry, but he is going to put you in a bad position, man. You're not good enough. You're not good enough.
What about him and Deontay?
Deontay Wilder would knock his ass out. I'm telling you, honestly, he has a better chance against Deontay because Deontay is not as technical. But if he goes against a guy like Usyk, he goes against a guy like Fury, bro, come on, man. You're about to get. I think he has a chance against Ruiz. If he goes against Ruiz, Joshua ain't what people think he is. He's slow. He can't move, bro. He can't move. That's why he's losing. That's why he's losing to Usyk. That's why he's losing to guys like Ruiz. And when he beat Ruiz, the only reason he beat him was because he athletically hopped around him, and Ruiz he's not an athletic guy.
Right.
So if you stay on the outside and stay safe like Floyd, you're gonna win that fight. But this is heavyweight division, dude. We don't want to see that shit. You need to knock Ruiz out. This is the heavyweight boxing. Heavyweight boxing is not technical. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
Like, don't get me wrong. Like, Muhammad Ali was technical, but Muhammad Ali also put together some shit, man. Like 6-punch combos, beating dudes' faces in. Muhammad Ali did that. He would cut people's eyes open with a jab. Like, he would jab you, and your eyes would be cut. When it comes to heavyweight style of boxing, if you try that athletic stuff, it ain't gonna work all the time because you're gonna go up against a guy like Tyson Fury. That's a very technical guy, and he's powerful.
Right.
Mhm.
And you're gonna get beat. Like it's called a boxer puncher, right? So when you watch boxing, there's something called a boxer puncher. It's a guy who can really box, is really skilled, but can also put your lights out. And that's Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury, guys like Usyk, guys like Muhammad Ali, guys like Tyson. A lot of people think Tyson's just a heavy hitter. He's not. He was technical.
Very technical.
The only thing bad about Tyson is when he faced a really, really, really great boxer, he got beat because Evander Holyfield was much more athletic. And that is what it was. But at the same time, Francis is going to get killed if he steps into Tyson Fury, man. I'm sorry. He's going to get beat bad, man. Worse than Conor. If you put it in my opinion, I think Tyson Fury is really going to put it on him, dude. That's just the way I see it. He has a better chance with Deontay Wilder, but again, Deontay Wilder's got a right hand from the devil. From the devil. If he lands that shit, man, ask Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury will tell you. He was like, man, he landed that shit, and I thought he probably was in another world. I'm telling you, like Floyd could box the way he could because he was in a lighter weight class.
Exactly.
He was more skilled. He was faster. That's how they box. You have to box like that when you're there because guys are too fast, guys are too athletic, and they have a lot of torque. So therefore, it comes to a point where Francis Ngannou got to come back to UFC. You ain't gonna make it in boxing, bro. You about to get beat the fuck up. You're about to look like Jake Paul going up against Tyson Fury. Dead ass. Probably worse because you ain't knocking down Tyson Fury, dude. I'm gonna say it right now, that shit ain't happening. So therefore, I'm sorry, man. I got love for Francis, but he is not going to make it in boxing. He needs to take his ass back to UFC, sign a 2 to 3 year contract, whatever you got to do. Make your money, get out. But nah, when it comes to the profession of boxing, people need to start respecting it a little bit. And those guys, there's a reason a lot more deaths happen in boxing. Bro, it's very concentrated.
Mhm.
Very concentrated. And it's no, Francis Ngannou is about to get beat bro. I don't even want to talk about it. Like how bad he get beat if he went to Tyson Fury. So it comes to a point where I'm cool with him going to boxing. It'll be entertaining shit. Maybe some people will buy it, but you're gonna get beat up. It ain't gonna be worth it. You're gonna look worse than Conor. Conor's got some skill at least.
And he's in a lighter division, like you said.
And Floyd walked in front of him. Floyd was taking punches. You saw how Floyd ate that left hand?
Right.
He ate it. It wasn't even a problem.
Easy.
He just took it. He took it. He was like, all right. And that was with like 8-ounce gloves. Floyd Mayweather caught a left hand from Conor and was like, okay. Nah, you got some more?
Yeah.
Exactly. You're right.
So it comes to it didn't hurt him. It didn't hurt him one bit. He just kept walking. So therefore, nah, man, Francis, you gotta stay. You gotta stay in MMA because the boxing ain't for you. And so all the MMA guys out there that think they're gonna box, it's not gonna work out for you. It's not gonna work out for you. You need to quit acting like you're gonna beat a kid that's been boxing since he was 5 and is an Olympic gold medalist. And it has been man. Good luck, bro. I mean, good luck. All luck to him, but he's gonna get killed.
Yeah, for sure, guys. And also, before we leave, just if anybody's interested, late last night I was up and I checked out Jon Jones's Twitter. He is still talking shit as per usual. So very interesting stuff. Talking about giving a little bit of praise to Thiago Santos, saying that compared to Gane, he was very explosive. He is very technical. He kept pressuring him the entire time. A lot of people said, why aren't you comparing that to Lyoto? My point is, I think that Lyoto was more technical, but at the same time, just explosiveness wise, Thiago had that in the bag, and he's been talking shit about Francis. He's been talking shit about the training partners of Gane. So you guys can check out John Jones's Twitter. It's very entertaining. And next week we are going to be talking about Span versus Krylov. Finally, I can make that bet again. So excited for that fight. Don't know how the rest of the card is going to pan out, but we'll see what happens. Thank you so much to my co-host and obviously CJ for coming on. You are welcome anytime, buddy, to be on our podcast.
Hey, dude, shout out to CJ. I want to tell him right now. Hey, I've done multiple shows with CJ. I've done it with him and Connie. I've done it one-on-one with him. CJ's a good dude. Hey, bro, you're a part of UFC Unwrapped now. Yeah, you're part of the Fights Unwrapped. You gotta keep coming.
Yo, Dustin, I
He did really good on his first show. Super proud of him. Bro, that was good. That was good.
For sure. Everybody go and follow CJ down on his Twitter, cjames9_, and obviously Dustin at No Censor Sports, and at my name at Monique Yip. If you guys want to follow us and talk fights more, we are welcome to do so. Everybody, this has been a spectacular showing, and we are so excited that this is Jon Jones's fight week. Everybody have a great rest of the week, and we are excited about the fights. So everybody have a great weekend, and we will see you all next week. Bye, guys. Happy fight week.